Welcome back to Seattle Living 101, and if you're new here, whether you're looking to move to Washington or you're just visiting, today we're talking about the top 10 things for you to do in Washington State. Now, some of these are my personal favorite things to do, and some of them are brought to you by the popular opinion of every Washingtonian here in the Pacific Northwest. Now, you'll find these things to be true should you talk to any Washingtonian that has lived here for anywhere close to a decade. So, coming at the top of our list at the number one spot is hiking out Mount Rainier National Park. Covering close to 240,000 acres, there's many different trailheads and different hikes that you can do over at Mount Rainier National Park. Now, we go to Mount Rainier National Park maybe once, twice per year just to check out the scenery, some of the wildlife. There are some trails that are wheelchair accessible and have paved pathways. You don't have to be an avid hiker to go over there and go on some 93-mile loop like one of the trailheads over there. You can simply head out there for a day, set up a blanket, have a picnic with your family, and enjoy the
enormous views of Mount Rainier.
And there are some waterfalls over there for you to check out. Typically, if you're going to Mount Rainier National Park, you should plan at least a day trip, because if you live over in the King County area, in Kent, Renton area, kind of like myself, you're gonna have about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive over to Mount Rainier. Now, besides that, you're probably gonna stand in traffic a little bit over there, depending on what time of the year that you go there. During this time of the year, it's closed just because you can die on the roads over there. There's many cliffs. But throughout the summer months, a lot of people head out over there on the weekends. So if you want to avoid all of the traffic, just head out there on a weekday, take a day off, some PTO, right? Paid time off, and head out there on a Monday or Tuesday, and you probably won't encounter too many people. Now, with that, the second thing at the top of our list is anything that has to do with snow and sports, right? I'm talking snowboarding, skiing. Used to do some of that back in my younger days. Anyways, not that I'm old. Or sledding, which is what I do now with the kids. The most popular sledding place that we visit with the kids is over at Hyak Snow Park. That's Hyak for those of you Googling, in Snoqualmie Pass. And there's a very popular sledding hill over there. You typically pay about $20 to enter, and that thing is packed with snow. Then you can head over to the more flatter part and build a snowman. I'll include some pictures here. We built what was supposed to look like Olaf. Let me know in the comments how we did with the kids. My wife had the genius idea. I think it turned out pretty good. And we did some sledding as well. I tried to go with my dog, and he didn't really like it too much for the first part. Then he kind of got used to it. But it was really fun. And just be careful out there. Obviously, it's slippery. We saw an ambulance come over there. I think somebody hit their head or something like that. Obviously, be careful. And sometimes you might get lucky, just as we did. Instead of paying the $20 to get in for a day pass, some of the people who were exiting, they just gave us their day pass and said, hey, here you go. We were only here for a few hours, so we saved $20. Sometimes you might get lucky over there like we did. And if you want to go there for a bit longer than just a few hours, right, for a snow trip, you could rent any one of the cabins over there. There are many Airbnbs over on Snoqualmie Pass this time of the year. They tend to be pretty booked, of course, during the winter months. So this is something that you should plan for ahead of time, ideally half a year to a year in advance, because spots book up pretty quick. Now, of course, number 3 on our list, you could visit Seattle, and there's many things to do in the city of Seattle. You have your popular Pike Place Market, which you probably heard about many times before. You can go check out that disgusting gum wall filled with gum all over the walls. I like to peek at it here and there, maybe once a year. Other than that, I never go there really. I more prefer to stand in the market, eat some fresh fruits that they hand out as samples, pick up some fish jerky. You can check out the first Starbucks that was ever built. It's over there. I tend to like specialty coffee, but if you want to check out a piece of coffee history, checking out the first Starbucks could be the place that you want to go to. You should also check out the pierogi place over there, and like I said, the salmon jerky place directly across the pierogi place. Now, pierogi are essentially these dough and meat stuffed thingy-majigs. They're of European descent. I was born in Ukraine. My family always made them. Over in Russia, we have family too. They always make them. It's just a European thing. So pierogi is an awesome place for you to check out. or Beecher's Cheese, which is one of the most famous cheese places out here in Washington and on a national level too. They got different awards before. Beecher's Cheese is something that you have to check out. They have amazing cheese sandwiches and just mac and cheese if that's your thing. Now, what I would recommend when you go to Seattle is go on the eastern side up 405 and across the 520 bridge. The 520 bridge is one of the biggest floating bridges, I think, in America. This thing is long, and when I mean floating bridge, I mean literally you're driving and it kind of feels like the water is like 4 feet down from you. I don't think it ever got flooded before, at least might not remember, but I've never seen it flooded. Us locals, we get used to it, but if it's your first time here, I think it's a fun place for you to kind of drive through, check out the 520 bridge, and head on over to Seattle. Now, after that, if you have some time, you can also check out Olympic National Park. Now, Olympic National Park is just under 1 million acres of national forest, and there's also many different trailheads over there, different things to do. Sometimes people head out camping over there for a few days to check out the stars, and of course there's no lights over there, so you're kind of like secluded and everything is very visible. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the Pacific Northwest. There are trees over there that are some of the tallest trees in America, standing at over 300 feet tall. Now, I know California has some big forests as well, but over here, Olympic National Park is kind of one of the biggest national parks over here in Washington, and it's definitely a must visit for you when you're here. And if you fly into SeaTac, it's probably gonna be a good 3-hour drive over there, maybe 3.5. I think we drove 3.5 last time we went over there, something along those lines. So you might want to plan out a day trip and check out one of the Airbnbs over there as well. And there are some beaches over there on the Western Peninsula as well. So you could check out the forest, check out some of the beaches, and overall have a great time. Of course, I recommend heading up to the beach in the summer times because otherwise it's going to be freezing. Now, coming in 5th on our list, did you know that Washington State has a ton of islands? You have Orcas Island, Bainbridge Island, you have Whidbey Island, you have the San Juan Island as well, which Orcas Island is part of the San Juan Islands. But anyways, my point is, if you want to go do some whale watching, Orcas Island, they have different tours as well for you to go check out all the orcas over here and just whales in general that you can take a look at through any one of the tours that they have available for you guys. We visited Bainbridge Island before multiple times, just even for fun. You hop on the ferry, 20, 30 bucks, you head over there, you stop by their coffee shop over there, have some nice breakfast, check out the island, and then head back. Your ticket for 20, 30 bucks, it will cover both of your ways there and back. Even just hopping on the ferry for a nice trip with the family, it could make a really great weekend for you guys. Now, if you head up more further north to, like I said, Orcas Island, the San Juan Island, or any one of the further islands up north, there I would probably plan again to spend at least a day or two, maybe a full weekend to check it out. Now, when it comes to Whidbey Island, we used to have some friends that lived over there, and we would head over there, pick up some wine, and some of the homes on Whidbey Island are literally right on a cliff where you can do whale watching from the comfort of your very own home. But most people who live on these islands, they're typically retired or have remote jobs that don't require them to be on, I guess you could say, the mainland, 5 days a week, right? Anyways, maybe you're somebody who likes wine and you want to check out everything that has to do with wine. Well, Walla, which is, I believe, a good 3-hour drive last time we drove there, 4? Or was it longer? Have to Google it. I don't know. Might have been even 5 hours. A good 5 hours drive, we'll say that. You can head over to the Walla Valley. Now, Walla is a very small town, and it's known for wines. You have over 120 wineries nestled in Walla Valley. So you can head over there for many different wine tours. You could also stop by some of the fine dining that they have over in downtown as well. And again, typically, I don't know about you, but if I'm driving for 5 hours somewhere, I would want to stay there at least for a weekend. That way you're not just spending a whole day of driving. Now, next up on our list is Snoqualmie Falls. Snoqualmie Falls, haven't been there in probably a good year or two. Once you see something so often, you want to give it a little break. But Snoqualmie Falls is one of the most popular waterfalls here in Washington State. And there's no hike required. You literally park, you walk like 10 steps, and you see this gigantic waterfall with the Salish Lodge sitting right on top. Now let's talk a little bit about the Salish Lodge. My wife and I went out over there, and they have, of course, the hotel you could stay at for a night or two, or longer if that's your thing. We just ended up staying one night. We got some massages. We had some fine dining as well. The restaurant sits like with these massive windows overlooking the waterfall, so it's absolutely gorgeous. And the rooms, depending which one you get, can be facing the waterfall as well. Of course, those go up higher in price, but if you're looking to spend maybe a night or two at the Salish Lodge, get some massages, eat some good food, you should probably expect to spend right about $1,000. And while you're over there, you can check out some of the lavender fields, and right by Snoqualmie Falls, you have the Snoqualmie Falls gift shop and visitor center, where you can pick up some locally sourced honey and some other gifts for yourself as well. Now, number 8 on our list, you have the Woodland Park Zoo and, of course, Point Defiance Zoo, both in 2 completely separate areas. Woodland Park Zoo is in Seattle, and the Point Defiance Zoo is down in Tacoma. Now, either one of those is fine. We've been to both of those. I can't say I prefer one over another necessarily, but I do like the fact that if you go to Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium over in Tacoma, you can check out Tacoma right afterwards, which is next up on our list, taking a look at Tacoma. Tacoma has many wonderful things that it offers you. Besides fine dining, we always talk about Point Ruston and many of the other areas. You guys can check out any of my other videos about Tacoma for an in-depth overview. But you have Point Ruston over there, many different shops, farmers markets, restaurants, seafood places, taking out your kids to the spray ground during the summer where there's like, waterfalls coming out of the ground. Not waterfalls, what is it? Fountains coming out of the ground. Things like that, you get the drift. And just check out the beautiful sights that Tacoma has to offer. Now, if that's not your thing and you're into some gambling, we have the new Emerald Queen Casino. I never gamble, I try not to. Well, I guess crypto could be gambling. Anyways, you can check out the newly built Emerald Queen Casino. There's multiple casinos here in Tacoma. If you want to go out for a night on the town to do some gambling, have at it. Just make sure you're not gambling away your down payment that you're planning to buy a house with here in Washington State. As I am a real estate agent, I must remind you of that. So if you're looking to buy a house here at Seattle Living 101, I am a realtor. Hit me up at the number below, scan the QR code for a Zoom call, and we would be happy to help you make that smooth move over to the Seattle area. And last on our list, I'm gonna shoot off a few things from the hip. We have the Museum of Flight, one of the biggest flight museums in America. Many different exhibits. I think they have like 173 different air and spacecraft for you to check out. Some interactive exhibits as well. You have Mount St. Helens if you want to check out some volcanoes. I think that blew up in 1980 last time. You have, if you want to head down to Portland, we visit family in Portland every few weeks. You have another volcano over there, Mount Hood, right? So Washington State and the Pacific Northwest has absolutely everything you can think of when it comes to things to do here. So if you're looking to move to Washington State, as I mentioned before, I'm a real estate agent. And if you scan the QR code here, you can book a Zoom call with me one-on-one so that we can talk about me helping you make that smooth move over to the Seattle area. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.